This is episode 51 of Indecisive Cinema.
I'm Carlos Hernandez.
I'm Jeremy Knight. We remembered.
There he goes. We remember this time.
How you been? How's
And
your week been? I guess it's been two
I've been
weeks. We
good.
didn't record last week.
It's been yeah. We didn't record last week. I'm doing well. Just finally we got a new car, so that's
Oh,
good, right?
nice. That's awesome.
Yeah, yeah. So we got the new car, and it was it's funny because I told her a couple weeks ago. I said I'm not worrying about it. Take your time. And then last weekend we were just like, I just got stir crazy, and I said, yeah, we got to get a car.
That's
So
fair. Yeah, it's hard. I mean, you guys got a lot going on with kids and stuff too.
yeah,
Hard to not have something to be able to get away. But
yeah,
glad you found something, and glad we're here this week. I think I had a shoot last week. I don't even remember. Yeah,
yeah. You
I
told me
had
you
a
were
shoot
shooting.
last week, and so I
What were
got
you shooting?
home. I got home at like 4. It was a video for SNAP benefits. I think it's USDA. I think is the one that runs that program.
Yeah, yeah.
But it was on behalf of an agency that does a lot of like federal contracts.
I was gonna
They
say
work
it's
with.
government. Yeah.
Yeah, so good gig. It was fun. 2 day shoot and pretty easy. So I just a lot
Good.
of interviews and a little bit of B-roll. So nothing crazy. But that first day was a little bit longer, so I got back a little too late to then turn around and record because I had
And
to
then
shoot the
record. Yeah.
following day. So, but
That's
yeah,
cool.
worked
That's a good
out.
gig. I'm glad.
Yep. And then I had a kind of a rough one in Louisiana this past weekend. It just weather was it was a
Oh,
an
yeah, yeah.
outdoor event with 300 people, and it rained. It just torrential downpour. Uh, and then I shot like 7 hours by myself.
Was it a wedding or?
Yeah. It was a
Oh
wedding.
shit!
And
Rain on
then
their wedding.
yep, yeah. So it was rough. They're actually really cool about it. Sweet couple. But yeah,
Yeah.
just kind of worst case scenario. It was like a backyard wedding, and weather-wise at least. And so I was just like scrambling to make sure my equipment was okay and stuff all day. And then I drove 5 hours home after in
Ooh,
just pouring rain. So that wasn't
that's
fun.
not good.
But
I hate
hey, we're
driving in
here.
the rain.
I made it
Yeah.
home.
Amen.
It
Good.
was nice
Good.
to get home after the wedding. Initially, I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to come home that evening because I think the end time was like 10 p.m. I was like, I'm not driving 5 hours by myself,
Yeah.
till 4 in the morning or whatever. And so they ended us at like 8:30. So got on the
Oh.
road,
Okay.
made it home. But yeah, it's
Yeah.
just a
Good.
long week. But we're here.
We're here. Amen.
We're here. I feel bad that we can't do the freaking live recording. Don't say why.
No, I know.
Yeah.
I was excited
But
though. I was excited. I was like,
yeah, I know. I was like, I had all these ideas. I was like, oh man, like that. I think this would be a fun thing to like live stream the Oscars,
the
and then we
Oscars.
just
Yeah.
ended up just not. I was like, oh, I actually already had plans after we just made those
Yeah. I
plans,
was talking to
put this
Rhonda
whole
about it. I
idea
was coming
together.
up with. Yeah.
But anyway, next year, I guess we'll do a recap episode
Definitely.
next week about them. Though I don't
Definitely.
think I have anything going on next week, so it won't be hard to get on and talk about all the Oscar madness. Who do you think is taking top prize home tomorrow or Sunday?
For for best pick or right?
Let's say best pick. We don't have to get out. We've already kind of talked about what
Um.
we want to win, I think, but
Yeah. Yeah. It's going to be hard because right now Sinners is gaining this momentum. I mean, not that I don't like that movie, but I
sure,
thought
yeah.
one better after the other after another would be the winner. I'm hoping that wins, but I don't know, man. I mean, it might be Sinners. You never know.
I mean, I think that's
What do you
definitely
think?
the
What's your
the
pick?
only other option, like in terms of like sleeper
Yeah, yeah.
options that might, sleeper agents that might come in and steal the award away from one battle after another. I think people are. I think people were tired of hearing about one battle after another. I think that's the problem that one battle after.
I
I
think
think
so.
that's what it has to
Yeah, I
overcome.
think so too.
And so Sinners was like this fun pick that everybody was like, "Oh, I like Sinners," and so it's kind of gained some momentum.
Yeah,
I still think it's going to go to one battle after another, but that might be wishful thinking.
yeah, yeah. I do too.
Sinners is great. It made $1 billion.
Jinx.
If Sinners wins, it's not the end of the world.
Yeah.
Um, Definitely a better option than like
No, no, of
Green
course
Book
not. But
or F1. Like
oh my god,
that'd be. Imagine if that won.
imagine!
If
I don't even
that
know why
won
that's
Best Picture.
nominated. I still don't understand why that's
I'm
nominated.
sure
Oh
it's
my god.
fine. They're re-releasing it, and I was like considering because the only thing I haven't seen of the Best Picture nominees is Secret Agent and F1, I want to catch
Yeah.
Secret Agent because it's coming back to theaters this week, so I might go see it. But same with F1, and I looked at it. It's like F1 is 2 hours and 35 minutes long. I'm like, I have no interest.
It's
The little
serious.
interest I had, it's like I can't muster up the effort to go and sit in a theater for that long for that movie.
I, I I would not. Yeah, never.
Secret Agent's
Not even for free.
245, and I'm into that. That sounds great. Like
Yeah, no, that I want to see. Yeah.
F1, it's like Brad Pitt drive car fast, and that's 2 hours and 35 minutes. I'm sure it's good. I'm not like
Minutes.
I'm sure the movie's fine, but yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I don't think I'll be seeing F1. If we were gonna do the live stream, I was
Yeah.
seriously considering sitting through it, but
No.
I just don't. I think I'm just gonna call it quits, and I'll watch Secret Agent, and then I think there's
Thank
one
God.
other foreign nominee that I wanted to see, but yeah. Other than that, there's always like one or two every year that I just can't.
Which one? The accident, right?
I saw
That's the
that.
only one I think you haven't seen, right? Oh, you did see it. Okay.
No, it's the face of something. I think is what it's called. It's I think it's Iranian, or it's definitely Middle Eastern. I forget which country.
Okay.
The voice
Yeah.
of something. I don't know. It's a long title.
Yeah.
This doesn't matter. But anyway, I haven't seen that. And that's it. Other than that, I think I've seen I rewatched Bugonia the other day with my dad and brother. And man, that movie rips. It was awesome.
Did they like it?
Yeah, they both liked it a lot. My brother
Good,
really
good,
liked
good.
it. The voice of Hind Rajab. I don't know. I'm sure that's not how you pronounce that. That's the only other foreign one that I hadn't seen. I'm sure I haven't seen all the like best actor. I don't know. I mean, I think like Song Sung Blue I didn't see, which you liked.
Yeah, yeah. It's on Peacock.
Everything else I think I've seen though. I'm looking
Yeah.
through the categories here. Yeah. I mean, maybe some of the like though some of the animated ones I did not see. So
Oh,
like
okay.
Arco I hear is good. Little Amelie
Yeah.
for the character, K-pop Demon Hunters. I mean, I saw Elio, which is actually
You
on my list of things to talk about.
you
gotta
did you
delve.
see K-pop?
I
you see
didn't.
the
People love it.
Yeah, I enjoyed it actually. I did. I was like to appease Emma, I was going to sit through it, but I ended up enjoying it. It was really good.
Is it? Oh, I hear it's. Yeah, I hear it's actually really well done. But
Yeah,
is
yeah.
it based on a manga? Is that or like
No.
a series, or is it?
No,
okay.
no, it's an original thing, and now it's like all over the place. But yeah,
Yeah, it made a ton of money. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, other than
thing's
that,
everywhere.
I think I've seen. Other than that category, I've seen most of the stuff. So, we'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I saw Train Dreams, which we're going to talk about today,
Yes.
and then we're going to talk about The Bride, which
The
I know you
Bride.
saw.
Yeah.
Did you see anything else? Is there anything else worth chatting about?
Yeah. So Worth, like we saw The Bride, and then we saw Scream 7,
Oh,
which
okay.
is whatever. Then we saw
That's
How to
all
Make
right.
How to Make a Killing, which
Okay.
wasn't bad. It was a nice dark, comedy. And then we saw Wuthering Heights, which the agreement was if I saw Wuthering Heights, she would see Dolly. We
Dolly.
both lost.
yeah, yeah. All those options sound bad. Other than, literally all those movies sound terrible. Wuthering Heights looks stylish, but I hear it's just
It was, but
no substance to
it
it.
was just drivel. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
like, and How to Make a Killing. I definitely recommend it. Like it'll be on Peacock probably in a couple of weeks, but I definitely
Gotcha.
recommend watching it. It's smart and funny.
Yeah.
And the ending was kind of cool. It made sense, but other than that, yeah, I mean the only really movie worth watching this weekend was The Bride. That
Gotcha.
was my favorite film. Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess that can get us into that. Or actually, no. First, I wanted to talk about two things, movie news wise. One is we talked about Elio just a second ago. Elio, Pixar is under a lot of fire for
Yeah.
apparently cutting the fact that Elio was gay from the original.
Yes.
I guess it was like maybe an original version. It never got like a theatrical run, but it was like probably in test screenings. I think it did poorly.
Yeah.
And then they fired the director and then cut. Apparently, he had a pink bike and he was into another little boy, and that was all that was in the movie. But that was like but it's become a controversy.
Yeah.
I figured it would be an interesting point of discussion. Obviously, my guess is this was an attempt to save the box office, especially if there were other issues with the film at the time. But it's just like, has this created more controversy instead? I don't know. Is
Yeah.
all press good press? Also, I guess who knows. Maybe that was
I mean,
something they were weighing, but
the movie flopped regardless. I mean, it
yeah.
didn't do well regardless of what they did. Which I was surprised because I remember the hype leading up to it, and then it got out in theaters, and I was like, oh, we're gonna go see it. JC was like, yeah, I'll watch it on cable, so I was like, I forget about it. And then that was it. Next thing you know, literally it was on Disney Plus like a week and a half later, and I was like, oh shit, it's already there. And he saw it, and we asked him if he liked it. He said it was okay, and then I was like, all right, but I still haven't seen it. I
I
mean,
saw
but
it. It
yeah,
was fine.
yeah,
That's my review. No, it's good. I like a lot of the animation. I think some of the jokes and some of the like. It doesn't have a lot of emotional depth, but it works.
yeah,
It was fun. It's not amazing. It's not top tier
yeah,
Pixar,
yeah.
but I do think
Pixar.
it's worth a watch like on streaming though. Like if and I'm sure like if your kid because there's a lot of cool like monster stuff in it and the like the
Yeah,
alien component of it is really fun. Like and there's a lot of references to
yeah.
classic like sci-fi films and stuff like that and it's kind of it's just a fun little watch. I think it's
All right.
why are
Then I'll
so
catch it.
the point of discussion I want to talk about is why are people like I don't understand. I feel like there's a difference, and maybe this has probably been said before, but like there's a difference between like LGBT representation in film and
Hmm.
like like just like portraying a person that is gay or
Yeah,
versus political like indoctrination or like some kind of like it's like an agenda that they have, and I don't understand that mentality of like just a person being gay is therefore inherently political
yeah.
or
It's stupid.
trying to like push your ideology on other it's like these people exist in the world like I guess we can
Yes,
argue about that which is kind of goofy in 2026
I know,
whether or not
right?
I mean even just identifying you don't even have to agree with the fact that, whether or not I mean it's ridiculous that you don't agree with the fact that they're that they
They
that they
exist.
yeah exist and live their lives the way they do but it's also, but I don't understand why like people are so against it being represented in like in art.
Yeah,
I just don't understand that at all. It's so goofy to me. Not
yeah.
that we
Because
want to
if film is escapism, where you go to the movies to get away from everything, like why bother? And I'm surprised because it's a Disney film, and I'm just like Disney has given into that before. Well, not given in, but has allowed
they put their woke
LGBTQ.
agenda on us
I know,
before.
so that's what I'm saying. I don't understand. Like, I don't know where this happened, and I'm like, okay, and then it failed anyway. Nobody went to see it regardless. And I'm like, well, look at that. You should have just left it alone to see what would have happened.
Yeah. Yeah, what a
So,
weird. It was just a weird thing and for I feel like and maybe this isn't that big of a deal. I don't know what the response I mean it seems like there's some frustration for sure.
yeah,
Especially for a company that's generally known for being pretty forward,
yeah,
thinking in
yeah,
terms of
yes,
maybe sometimes to a fault because I do think they do also pander, as well. But that's not
yeah,
just
yeah.
Pixar, that's just Disney in general.
Disney in
Um
general, yeah.
but again, I just think it's such a strange what a weird thing to be worried about.
That's
But
what I'm saying.
anyway,
It's
that's
stupid.
that's that. That's my thoughts on that. The other thing worth talking about is that Paramount did end up winning the
Yeah,
acquisition for Warner Brothers,
Warner Brothers. Yeah,
which we had talked about in more detail. We don't have to get into that. I just think it's
yeah, yeah,
interesting that's there's finally some movement on it. I guess Netflix just didn't want to outbid the Saudi
yeah.
Arabian
That
government.
that's what it came down to. They were like, yeah, you know what? We're not gonna put another
Like we
bid. You
can't
got it.
compete with the Saudis, so we're just gonna stick to streaming for now. I mean, I do think though, like we talked about it just to give a brief recap of that conversation. I think for me, Paramount having a vested interest in movie theaters, regardless of whether or not they're backed by foreign interests, I do
Yeah,
think. I think that's more beneficial than Netflix, who is just known for being completely against the art form. I just
yeah,
think they have
yeah,
no interest in movie theaters existing, and they have
yeah.
no interest in putting out content that's in line with the standards that we've expected for
Agreed.
a
Yeah.
hundred years of film. So I think that's probably the better of the two evils. But yeah, it's interesting to see just that whole. Netflix even like released a statement saying like, "Hey, we've acquired Warner Brothers. Welcome to the family." And then
I
now
know. I remember that.
I'm
I was
curious to see
excited.
like what's
Sorry.
going to happen with that in itself. Like just like all the whole marketing camp. Like they spend all this money to make these announcements, and
Yeah, I know,
are
right?
they going to like backpedal? Like, hey, we we got a little too excited. I don't know. It's just an interesting. I'm curious to see what happens with. I've Paramount has detailed some of the like the plans as far as like theatrical windows, and that's like a 45-day window or something. I forget. You have to go look up all the. They have like a
Yeah,
list of like strategy for how they plan to take over Warner Brothers and what they planned, because a lot of people were really concerned about how they what they would do with this really important intellectual property, or at least
yeah. Their library too. They have a
library
huge
of yeah
library. Yeah,
content, and that's all detailed in like their kind of. Who knows? I mean, it's like a political campaign. It's hard to know if any of it will actually happen. They might just
yeah.
end up, nuking Warner Brothers, and who
God
knows? Who knows
forbid.
what'll
I hope
happen?
not. So many
But
great films at Warner Brothers. You can't do that. But yeah,
sure. But I do think it's the better of the two, and personally. But anyway, The Bride. So you saw The Bride.
I did. I did.
We both saw The Bride. So we're going to talk about The Bride in spoilers, spoiler heavy.
Spoiler heavy.
I think the movie's good overall. I think the response to it's almost more interesting to me than the actual film itself. But I guess at this point, though, if you haven't seen it and you're curious about it, I would say I recommend it. I don't know if it's something you should just jump to the theater to see.
Yeah.
My main problem with it is I think the detective stuff with Sarsgaard is just awful.
Sarsgaard and
And
well, you mean
Penelope Cruz is fun, but the dialogue for those characters is just awful. I don't understand. They feel out of place, and I guess. Oh, did you lose me here? You good? Can you hear me?
no, no, yeah, I'm back.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Can
No,
you
I
hear
thought I
me?
thought we lost you for
Yeah,
a
yeah, yeah,
second.
we're
Yeah, you're
good.
good.
No, I'm back. Yes.
But yeah,
Um,
those two characters just feel out of place. I understand. We can get into the details of that plot line maybe later, but I understand why it's there, like from a
yeah,
script standpoint. Like Penelope Cruz kind of taking over for this, like for a crooked cop kind of. In Peter, sorry, Jake is the character's name, Myrna.
yeah, Jake, Jake.
But that whole monologue he gives, where he's like, "I'm sad that I was bad," is awful. It seems like they were
I
trying to
agree.
be kind of break the tropes of traditional detective films and maybe lean into
Yeah,
some of the more classic tropes of like how detectives used to be in movies, and then also, the boys' club component of the police
correct.
force and
The
stuff.
whole feminist angle of the
Yeah,
film as well. So
I see why it's
um,
there, but man,
yeah.
the execution of that stuff sucks. But other than that, I liked most of it. What were your thoughts on The Bride? Give us a synopsis for. I guess it doesn't matter. We're doing spoilers. You've probably already seen the
Yeah,
movie at this point, but
but
um,
yeah. So basically, we so with just a basic synopsis, we're retelling the story of the Bride of Frankenstein, basically, but with a feminist angle. And I hate to say that because I don't want to sound like I'm anti-feminist, but it was just pro women empowerment, and I so Jessie Buckley, who I loved in this film.
she's great. Yeah,
She's amazing. And she's this like gangster mall girl who and so that was one of the things I wrote in my review on Facebook. But I mean, we and Rhonda were talking about it. Were they talking about, or were they trying to focus on what she had? Was that the whole? So, I mean, I guess we could talk about it later. But anyway, she ends up being infused or possessed by this power of female empowerment.
Mary
Eh,
Shelley, the author.
Yeah,
Mary
the author,
Shelley, right?
Mary Shelley is the author.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the author of Frankenstein.
yeah. So, and she then, in the midst of going back and forth between her gangster mole and Mary Shelley's voice, rats out or talks about openly about the big mob bosses murdering of women, and she ends up, when her boyfriend takes her outside, she ends up falling accidentally. He didn't push her, but she fell accidentally downstairs, breaks her neck, and then they bury her and get rid of her. And then cut to Frankenstein's monster comes to Dr. Euphronius, who we find out is a female, is a woman, and he says he's lonely and wants a companion, and so they go, and luckily the first body they dig up is Ida slash Penelope slash the bride, and they bring her back to life, and then it's a Bonnie and Clyde type story from there.
Sure, a little bit
Which
of
I
Bonnie and
which I,
Clyde, a little bit of like True Romance.
romance, yes, it was a bunch of
Um,
There's a lot of references, a lot of great references too, and and then yeah, you have the gangster on her tail trying to shut her up, and then you have the detective who is on her tail because at first because the thing happened in Chicago, and then we find out there's a little plot that she was one of the people came forward to the police, and this guy just ended up using her, and wasn't really gonna, you know, go against the mob boss. And it's a cross country trek from Chicago to Indiana to New York, New York, Indiana to Chicago. But yeah, it's also a road movie in a way, you know.
Sure, a little bit of that.
A little bit of that road film, and it's
It's
just
also kind of a musical, sort of. It's not full
well,
like Joker 2, which I've seen that
no,
comparison.
it's
But
I think her reference to Young Frankenstein
mhm.
showed in that, and I love that sequence too. I did
Yeah,
that, but also
I
a
love
nod
the
to
dance sequence is the highlight of film for me.
yeah,
I love that whole sequence.
yeah, and it was a nod to the whole Busby Berkeley, you know, musicals and dance films of the 30s and 40s. She really Maggie Gyllenhaal really did a great job in referencing and giving the movie that old timey feel
Mhm.
of the movies from back then, Universal pre-code stuff like that. And I really enjoyed it. I thought it was
Well,
really good.
yeah, I mean, obviously, we've seen that before in movies where the
Yeah, no, of
character is
course,
interested in film, right? I
yeah,
like the idea, though. For me, though, I think it does make sense for this character. The Frankenstein is like just horribly lonely and goes to
lonely,
the
yeah,
movies it's one of his only outlets to just experience human connection via,
and
this
without fear of
silver
people
screen.
noticing him. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, and I think that's an interesting idea, and I like the dance sequence at the end is this like, or the in the middle is
The
kind of
middle,
this
yeah,
this climax of not only his like romanticized vision of life, but also like there's she's kind of been egging him on to dance with her throughout
yeah,
it,
yeah.
and that's just like a just a fun kind of
It
moment in
is.
the film, and a very theatrical one that's just
Oh yeah,
really
it's
great. I think
amazing.
that's
Yeah,
definitely like for me where the film peaks. I
yeah,
think it kind of runs out of ideas once they get on the road and like then you do have the one scene with the cop from that's the guy from Sorry Baby. He plays the creepy dude from Sorry Baby.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Plays the cop. I think that's
He
him.
plays, yeah, yeah,
But yeah, that sequence is kind of it's. I mean, it makes sense to be in this film, but I feel like it kind of ran out of ideas with what to do because I don't buy. There's the whole concern that she's going to find out that they weren't together before,
yeah, yeah,
and I get why that's there, but it doesn't feel like the driving force of the tension of the movie, and then the mob stuff also feels like an afterthought. Not in terms of it being in the film, but I feel like
yeah,
him being on their tail.
yeah, yeah,
It felt like he disappeared for 45 minutes after the
yeah,
opening, and then
yeah.
he comes
True.
back, and the mob
And
boss
yeah,
is like, "Go get him,"
go
and
get
then
him.
and you're just like, it just feels kind of like they have all these different threads that they're kind of trying to tie together, and the detective stuff feels out of place. Like I almost think you could just have the police be a general force in the film because they're committing violence across the country, and I like the people getting all up in arms about what
Yeah,
she's
yeah,
become. She becomes kind of an idol, and I like all that stuff.
yeah, yeah,
Like the Joker to some degree.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I'm trying to think if there's anything else. This movie's it's expensive and it looks great and it's very stylish and it's very well
Yeah,
edited. I think like it's not boring.
yeah,
And
yeah.
there's a lot of just modern ideas in it, which are fun. It's 100. Okay, so apparently it was $150 million movie with
Really?
marketing.
Holy
Yeah,
cow. Oh, with marketing. Okay, that makes sense.
still, I mean, it's still
No, no,
it
I
was
know.
90. It was a 90 million with 65 million in marketing is what I read at least. I don't know if
Holy
these numbers
cow.
are exact. Yeah, made 15 million opening weekend,
Yeah,
projected
yeah,
$90 million loss. So huge flop. I think the hatred towards this film is really bizarre to me too, though. I feel like it's just kind of it's like fun enough to be like somewhat crowd pleasing. It's a
yeah,
weird
yeah.
concept, and I think the character is very strange. I think honestly, one of my only major complaints of is I had a hard time understanding the dialogue sometimes because she's switching between accents and like I understood what was happening in the film. I was never lost, but I do think there's
No, no,
like
yeah, yeah.
lines of dialogue that are it's almost like she has Tourette's, like with the Mary
Correct.
Shelley
That's what I
coming
was
out of
gonna
her, which is
say.
great
Correct. Like,
concept.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But I actually had a hard time understanding her sometimes. But a very minor problem. But I do think like I could see like somebody like my mom would actually probably like this, but like somebody like my dad being dragged along to see this and just being like, I just don't really understand what this is, right? Like it is a weird, strange concept. And it's violent, so there's a bit of
Yeah,
extremism to it.
yeah,
And
yeah.
it's definitely extreme, and it's like, I mean, I agree with the film's, message about woman's
Yeah.
role in society, which
Role
I think
society,
is,
yeah.
there's this whole idea that she's trying to remember her name, and I think it's
Hmm.
more important than that. It's like remember who she is and
Who
like
she is,
why
yeah.
she's here and what her role is in society, and it's not just to be the partner to this, this person. I think
Person,
that's
yeah.
at least at the core of the film. I like all that.
Yeah.
I do think, yeah, there's a lot of comparisons to things like you talked about Bonnie and Clyde, True Romance, Joker 2. I've seen all those. Poor Things is actually a movie I think that is more closely aligned with this
Mm.
because that is a Frankenstein film, I think.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
and I think it executes the same concepts far more effectively. Different films in terms of like
yeah,
the style, I would say
yeah,
for
yeah.
sure. I don't think Poor Things is for everyone either. Um,
That's true.
this is maybe a little more accessible, I would say, than that movie.
Yeah, yeah.
But I think Poor Things like executes the idea of like a woman's life being controlled by men
My
in a way
bad,
that's
yeah.
more extreme and more often tense at times too,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
also just outrageously goofy. I think it just works better as a satire than this.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't. I know these are all kind of negative thoughts, and they sort of are. The movie's mostly successful, though. I think in what it's doing. It's
Yeah,
not like.
yeah.
But yeah, I just had some. I think the detective stuff for me, I was just like, get this stuff off the screen. So I get that you have to have
And,
some kind of, you
and
know,
I think wait, is it Peter or the other Skarsgård?
is
Uh
it SARS? I think it's Sarsgaard.
Sarsgaard. Yeah, there you
Yeah,
go.
so I don't think he's. I thought he was a
He's not
Skarsgård as
really,
well.
yeah.
Close
But yeah,
enough.
I think
Missing one letter.
he kind of played it kind of like the not Bogart detective, but more like Jimmy Cagney detectives, like 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 kind of
Sure.
almost exaggerated,
Yeah, I
and
agree.
and and I think that Penelope Cruz played it a little bit more subtly, but she also had that robotic, way to talking the cop speak. Um, so I understand why, yeah, you didn't dig on that. And it did take away
Honestly,
from
that's a little campy. I don't even mind that.
yeah, that's a good say because that's how I saw it as more campiness,
Mhm.
but and in a way, it kind of takes away from them. But in a way, if you think about it, that's all campy as well. So I mean, it's like
The movie
well,
is
especially
kind of campy. I would
yeah, there's
agree.
camp in it. Yeah, that's
But
what I say. There is camp
I
in it, but
another
I was
point
like,
that is the Annette Bening monologue at the end. It's just like, why is this in here? It's like right before the climax of the film,
Phil,
before she
yeah,
gets her Scarface moment, and it's just weird and out of place and terrible. I really think it's bad. She's a fun character. I like Annette Bening
yeah,
as
yeah, I
almost
do
like a
dig her.
wild card
Yeah,
mad scientist. I don't hate that character at all, but that's just a strange. Like, there's a whole thing about her husband. I don't know. It's just very odd. I just
yeah,
didn't,
yeah.
didn't like that
She
at
brought
all.
him back to life.
Um,
Yeah, yeah,
it's like I think like the movie starts really strong, and there's some, I have some issues following some of the dialogue and stuff, but I really like the style of it, and I think it's a really. Is this her debut feature, Maggie Gyllenhaal? Let me look.
no, that's what I thought. She did do another film with Jesse Buckley in 2022.
Oh, okay.
Let me see the name of it. I think it's
Oh, is
the
this?
other daughter or the other.
Oh, that looks really good, actually. I've been meaning to watch that
Yeah, yeah.
with what's her name from The Favorite. Isn't she in that?
Coleman.
Yeah, Olivia Colman. Yeah,
Yeah, Olivia Coleman.
I forgot she did that, but yeah, she. I mean, Maggie Gyllenhaal's great. I mean, I
Yeah, she
love.
was really. Yeah, I was.
And I think this is like a really big showcase of her ability to and
A lost
visually
daughter. There it goes.
conceptualize these ideas. And I love the Mary Shelley component of. I think that's a crazy premise that
I
Mary
did too.
Shelley
Yeah,
like possesses this character.
yeah,
Again, I like how angry the film is, and there's a lot to like here, and I think a lot of people have just
yeah,
completely dismissed this, which is why it's
yeah, yeah. Of
flopped.
course. Yeah,
But I do think it's very Jesse
yeah,
Buckley's. I think this is
yeah, yeah.
a great just kind of showcase.
She's
Just give her the
amazing.
Oscar. She's gonna win the
Amazing.
Oscar, but
Yeah,
this is
yeah.
definitely
Right.
not hurting her chances at that. I think,
Yeah.
and Christian Bale's good in it too. I think
Yeah,
often.
I did,
Um,
and I made that in when I did my review. It's like You know how much I have a love-hate relationship with Christian Bale, and I thought this was amazing. He was really good at it.
Yeah. Yeah, Christian
Not
Bale.
better than
I think
Jesse
his
Buckley, but
characters
yeah,
can be. Yeah, this is a good
yeah,
character though overall for
yeah,
Frankenstein.
yeah,
Um, I like the anger and I like
yeah,
the just the sadness of that character. Yeah, it works. I mean,
yeah.
it's
It did, yeah,
I enjoy them together. They're awkward and kind of fun. But
yeah.
Jessie Buckley is great though. She's
Oh, she's
definitely a
amazing.
highlight.
I loved her. Yeah.
Yeah, a mixed bag for me, but I think an impressive directorial effort,
Yes,
despite
yes.
pretty major problems that I have with again some of mostly just isolated plot lines of it though. And I
Yeah,
think you
yeah.
could clean them up. Honestly, just like a rewrite of some of the detective stuff could. I just think if you could tie that stuff in tonally better to the film, it would be more successful for me
Yeah.
at least. But I also think people are like trashing this thing. They're like, oh, that looks terrible. But it's not terrible. It's pretty good actually.
Yeah, yeah.
Overall, there's just some issues. Yeah, I mean, do you think it's fresh or rotten? Like, would you if you had to like give it a? I mean, it sounds like you liked it a little more than I did. So
Yeah, I did. I did enjoy it a lot more from what we're saying. But your points are valid. Like I said, the same thing with the detectives. I kind of thought that was kind of a little bit too cheesy, over the top. But I would give it well, on the Rotten Tomatoes score. Didn't it get a really good one though?
I think it was like a
I thought it got like a.
58. So it's just rotten
Oh,
or
did it?
right there. Maybe it's fresh still, but
Right
it's
there,
like
yeah.
yeah, it's on on the edge, which
No,
I feel
I'd
like
say,
it's all right.
yeah,
But
I would have given it like an 80 on the Rotten
okay.
Tomatoes scale. Yeah. So,
Yeah, I mean, I would say it's like it's a 3 out of 5. It's like a middle of the road, but not rotten.
and
You know,
yeah, yeah, of
and
course,
that's
yeah,
fine. I mean, you know what? This is the most, like you said, you went and saw like 6 things in theaters, and this is the most interesting one. I mean, that's it's something, and
yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's often very impressive visually. So
Oh yeah,
there's a lot of
yeah.
it that I like, and oh, I love the other thing I like. Just to end on a positive note, Monster Mash over the credits is fun.
Oh,
That's a
we
fun.
that was fun. That was
Uh,
cute.
yeah.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
good.
yeah. There's a lot I like about it. I just, yeah. Anyway, we can move on, but not bad, not bad.
No, it
Train
wasn't. No.
Dreams. You saw this thing? This is the
I
Oscar
didn't see
nominated.
that.
You didn't watch
Yeah,
it?
yeah. No, of course
Uh,
not. No,
Train
I
Dreams is
yeah,
from Clint Bentley, who did Sing Sing, which I've heard a lot
Sing Sing.
about, but I haven't
I haven't
seen.
seen that. Yeah.
Apparently, that was great as well. I'd like to revisit that after seeing this, but Joel Egerton plays Robert, who falls in love with Gladys, played by Felicity Jones. They cut down tree. He cuts down trees for a living. Works out in the woods for extended periods of time, and is very far from home often during those stretches, and is overwhelmed by this sense of dread that
Dread.
he's missing out on his daughter's life, and
Yeah.
just it's like he's only truly happy when he's with them, and
Them,
work
yeah.
is just kind of taking him away from that, and
Yeah.
there's this overwhelming sense of dread that like he's gonna die also, that he's being
Yeah.
punished for the death of this Asian man that he worked with at one point is kind of horribly murdered by
Murdered. Yeah.
we don't really know who. It's kind of vague
Exactly.
as
Yeah.
far as like
Yeah. We
we
have to find out.
assume somebody that he works with, or like somebody involved in the process of like, but I don't even know if it's that clear, but he's they
Yeah.
basically grab him and throw him off a bridge, and
Throw
he
him off the
witnesses
bridge.
it,
Yeah.
and I feel like he feels like he could have done something more. Is at least
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
interpretation of his
Yeah.
feelings towards that.
Agreed.
And then there's this sense of that he's going to never going to be able to make up for that. And I think
Yes.
maybe that's a little harsh for himself, to be honest, because I don't know if he could have actually saved this man's life.
No, of
But
course
I
not.
think that's the more interesting part of this film. But anyway, so we're going spoilers for this as well. So
Yes.
yeah, for anyone that hasn't seen it. And I kind of have this broken down to kind of talk through it in sequence by chapter, which there's no actual
Yeah.
chapters in the film, but like Robert's backstory. So just to give some context for this character, there's a mention that he like witnesses mass deportations as a child. It describes him being aloof in the world or without
Yeah.
purpose, and I also think this is a time in history where you could just choose where you wanted to build a
Well, yeah,
house
I
and
know,
just do
right?
it. That was a fun. I was like, oh man, what an idea! Oh,
That's what I was saying.
it's like, oh, let's just build a house by the river. That
Ride the
sounds
river.
great. Let's
Yeah.
do that. but yeah, so he feels kind of lost in the world, and then Gladys is kind of brought into the picture and helps make sense of all of it for him, and and then we kind of get this next chapter with her, and you see kind of an intimacy between them. What did you so for the sake of discussion,
Yeah,
well, I want to talk about that, like the going back to like the being the punishment that
yeah,
he's dealing
yeah.
with, and like what, how do you think that ties into these where this film goes and kind of
Yeah, so I when it comes to that, like I was saying to Rhonda, I was like, it's weird because he feels like he like you said he's being or he's gonna be punished. It's like death is looming, and it's just fucked up because it happens to everybody around him, making
Mhm.
it like more. His wife and child are burned in a forest fire, and it's like everything that he was hoping would happen to him, even though once he meets Gladys, like it's still there, but it's something like if anything he doesn't want it anymore, and then it just happens to happen to her, and it just dooms him again where he doesn't want to live, and I just feel like it was interesting.
Oh, we lost you there for a second. I lost your mic.
There I go.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah,
Sorry about that.
yeah, I go. I'm sorry, I turned it, but yeah, so I just feel like it was kind of tragic because this impending doom that he felt for himself that went away with love and
Sure.
family, but stood in the back of his head, ended up coming for everything else that he loved,
Mhm.
making it like horrible for him. And like the moment where after he accepts their passing, he like but before he's just like, living in this like spot, raining on him and all this stuff. And I
I
felt
think
like
that's an
all the
interesting.
elements are
Yeah, I do.
yeah,
That whole section of the film, which I have kind of noted here, the idea that he like won't rebuild the bedroom, and so he's just staring up at the
exactly,
sky every night. And there's a line at one point about a comet that they see that's
yeah,
streaks through the sky, and people thought it was like a sign of end times, but it could in fact
end
be.
times.
But eventually it went just as it had came, is what the line was. It's like
Came.
people thought it was the end of days, but eventually the comet went as it had came. I think the idea
Yes, it came.
it's an interesting representation of kind of at least the character's belief that like the things in life may not be purposeful to some degree. Does that make sense? Like I think
Purpose. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
or
No,
at
I
least the
got you. Yeah,
question
of
of whether or
course.
not they are, I think is the core principle of this film is like this idea, this just like he's dealing with this idea of whether or not he's being punished for not only his actions in regards to his or inaction with the Asian man that's killed, but also there's this running motif that
Yeah.
they for like them cutting down the forest is doing some kind of permanent harm. And I think I think at the
Permanent
beginning I
harm.
thought it
Yeah, that
was
comes up. Yeah.
more, it is environmental, but I think it's more like the
Yeah,
forest is
definitely.
punishing them for these actions. And I think that's an interesting, I don't think the film is making a comment
Interesting.
about like environmentalism. I don't think it's that obvious of a theme. I think it's more the character feeling like what they're doing is
Oh,
wrong, like changing the landscape. But I think it ties into this idea of like, are all the
correct.
things that
Yeah.
are happening to him a result of this behavior or this action, like they're hurting the forest and it's
Yeah.
like punishing him by burning his wife and child alive. Again, I don't know if these are just
His
my
wife found. Yeah.
my thoughts on it at least.
No, no,
And
no.
so,
I understand because, like, I forgot. Not that I forgot, but like, yeah, that was another point. Like when William Macy starts talking about another character in the film, and I started thinking about it, and like as we said about you can build wherever you want. Like back then, I mean, they weren't wrong because all this land was open and free, and then we're knocking down these trees to build railroads, which then built towns and stuff like
sure.
that, and just not I don't want to say
Destruction of the
destroying the
forest,
land,
but
but
not,
the
yeah,
destruction of the forest.
sure,
Yeah, and I thought that was a powerful statement because, in the end, when he's like walking along, the streets of Chicago and everything's built these buildings, I was
sure.
like, damn,
He sees that they're on
I
the
was like,
moon, and he just feels out
yeah,
of place. Like he almost feels out of
exactly,
place in time to some degree. I think that's an interesting way to showcase that detachment
exactly,
from
yeah,
where things are headed, even like to some
headed, yeah,
degree.
where we're going, yeah, and I thought that was powerful, in
Yeah,
that
yeah,
aspect, yeah,
I agree. I think, yeah, I think I don't fully, um, I don't like that component of it, right? I think the end stretch of this film, I don't know if it completely works for me. The idea that like he comes to this conclusion that everything in life. I agree with the conclusion, which is that everything in life is it's just it's a compilation of moments.
Moments, exactly.
It's
Yes,
everything adds up to something. It's not just again, it's not a cause and effect related relationship with the world. It's just
correct.
the thing happens and you're in it or you're not, and
And
that's just
yeah,
in things. I think that's at least the idea at the core of this film, and I think the character comes to that conclusion a little unevenly for me,
yeah, yeah.
but I still really admire the principle of that and
Oh yeah,
the
of course, yeah,
exploration of that concept of like because it's a big idea of like why
yeah.
are we here and like why do and I a film that I think actually also explores this in my opinion a little bit more effectively is A Serious Man by the Coen brothers. I think
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
a film that I've gone back to in recent years, and I think it's one of their best pieces of work. It's fantastic, but that whole movie is about like this idea of with the things that happen to you in life, are they your fault or is it just a result of the randomness of the universe? And I
The
think
universe, yeah.
this film kind of captures the same thing, but in a more intimate portrayal of loss
True, yeah.
and acceptance of loss and. So I thought that stuff
I,
worked a lot for me.
and I think, yeah, comparing it to Serious Man, I think, and that's what you were going like in chapters. It was just like it was. That's why I saw like a fairy tale in a way, or his life in fairy tale. Like general moments of his life are focused on to promote the story or to move the story forward, and I think that's the difference because like after watching it, I was like, oh well, it's a film about these moments in his life, but they're
Mhm.
not lineal. Well, they are lineal, but I mean, not like there's not a lot of details. Like something will happen and then cut to 5 years later, 10 years later, and
Sure.
and whereas a serious man story, goes through this.
Yeah,
A lot of
it's
things
more of
happen.
a character being punished by what he
Punish.
thinks is yeah. It's very
Yeah,
similar though in the
yeah,
idea
yeah,
of like
yeah. No, no, no. Yeah, I
yeah,
agree with you. Yeah,
him
yeah,
like looking at these negative things that are happening to him and going like, Is this my fault? What have I done wrong?" And if anything,
yeah.
it's almost like a dark joke to some degree in
Sure.
that
Yeah,
film. But I think both films are very good at accomplishing what they set out to. At least
yeah.
the exploration of this idea, very different ways. But yeah, just like so, the opening line of A Serious Man, which I wrote down, is "Receive with simplicity everything that happens to you." Right? There's this idea. It's a nihilistic concept to
That
some
very
degree.
nihilist.
Um, but I think this film, I think inevitably, I think that's where this character ends up in a more positive way, I would
Yeah,
say.
yeah, yeah.
Because I think that there's this tragedy that occurs, and he spends not the remainder of his life, but a big portion of
A
it,
big
kind of
portion. Yeah,
asking, "Why am I still here? Why was I left behind?" I think that's
yeah,
devastating, and I think that's the
yeah,
stuff
yeah.
that is really emotionally effective here. Do you think this should be like in the best picture category? Like how like do you think it was successful overall for you? And
So it's funny that you said that because I said that to Rhonda. I was like, oh, it was a nice movie. It was a nice little story, and I enjoyed it. But I was like, but it's going to heavy hitters. I'm like, did they put it in because of the nice happy ending? I mean, not a happy ending, but it was. You talk about Serious Man, which is more nihilistic, and this is
sure,
more,
yeah,
like almost upbeat. Like
hmm
even though all this shit happens to him, it ends like now the future is over.
sure.
So I felt like maybe that's why it was put in there. I mean, it is beautiful to look at. I mean,
It is gorgeous. Yeah,
it
I think
is.
it
It's
does need to
beautiful.
be in
Yeah,
the cinematography category because I think
cinematography. Yeah,
the whole
definitely.
first half
But
is like all static shots and it's gorgeous. It's just
yeah,
stunning.
yeah,
It's like
yeah.
really well. I really love the visual of this film. But anyway, sorry.
If it wins cinematography, I wouldn't be surprised. But
Yeah,
yeah,
we'll
that's
see.
what I felt. I felt like, I mean, it's there, it's nominated, but it's. I don't think it should have been nominated for Best Picture. But the fact that it's there is good for director. But I mean,
Sure. It
but
doesn't bother me that it's there. I'll
no,
say
yeah,
that, yeah, for
I said
sure.
the same thing. I was like, oh, this is a really sweet film. I enjoyed it. Compared to One Battle After Another or these other films, they're bigger films. So
Sure.
yeah, I do. I feel like I mean, it's not like Green Book being fucking, in
Yeah.
there.
Oh, yeah. No, by no means. Yeah. I'm more
but
upset
I,
about
I
F1, which I haven't even seen.
yeah, but like that,
No
like
other
I
choice
rather
would be
have
the one that we've talked about that I think could maybe slip
okay
in there over this. But
over
uh,
F1 over Train Dreams. Yeah, yeah, I agree.
I bet
Yeah,
I like the movie a lot. I think it's very well executed, and I like William
yeah.
H. Macy a lot in it.
Oh yeah, he was good in that. I loved him
Uh,
in it. Yeah.
he's really, really good in his few scenes in it. But the one other question I had was, do we think that the girl that he sees later in the film, do we think that's
Yes.
actually his daughter? Do we think that, and if so, what happened? You know what I mean? Like, I think that's an
Yeah.
interesting touch
I
point.
so I mean again I know we don't really talk deep into our other halves, but Rhonda's more moon pies and penny whistles, and I'm more like so she feels that it could have been his daughter. I
Mhm.
feel like it was not. It was just a happenstance, and because of all this guilt or he wanted it to be her. He needed it to be her,
Sure.
and it propelled him to feel and to do and to get back into this, but I don't know. I wish or hope it was her, but I don't feel like it really was her. For him, it was, and like I
Mhm.
said, Rhonda says it was, but I don't think so. I mean,
Yeah,
I
it's
don't know.
interesting.
How
Well, and
about you?
I do
What do
think
you?
that, I mean, and we're talking about this broader concept of the
Yeah,
universe being to some degree random. I
random.
do
Yeah,
think it's very likely that it could not be her or it could be
yeah,
entirely imaginary. I mean, the way it's kind of portrayed is hard to tell whether or not it's legitimately, literally happening to him in real life or not.
yeah, yeah,
And I do think he's unsure as well, which I think he
yeah.
says
That's
to
what. Yeah, I agree.
Claire, which is another chapter of the film that I think is important. He feels like a yeah, like he starts to share his emotions with her, which I
Yeah,
think he had a harder time doing with the man from town that comes to
town.
check on
Yeah,
him. At least but that was also really soon after it had happened.
yeah, yeah,
Um, there's a really devastating line when he's talking to Claire. He says, he shares that he feels a regret for not being there when the fire came. He says something along the lines of like, I hear them in the woods sometimes, and I'm often afraid to turn around for fear that I'll scare them away. I'm like, oh, that's just like
yeah. That's fucked.
really
Yeah,
sad. But yeah, and there's a shared loss between them, and she says something
yeah.
along the lines of like, just every little thing in the forest is connected, just waiting to see what we were left here for, right? I think
That's yeah.
I think I think maybe this is an interesting part of or a thing to discuss, but like, do you think the film is saying like because I think that a lot of tragedy in life can be found from striving to understand the purpose of life, but also
Of
just the things that happen to you,
course.
right? Do we think that the film is, I guess, I mean, because I think it's exploring this concept, and I think inevitably it says that I think it's just a summation of moments, which is kind of what it seems like the
Moments. Yeah.
concludes
Agreed.
with,
Yeah.
but yeah, I don't know. It's just like, is it saying that you shouldn't put too much value in each thing, or is it saying, I don't know. I don't know. I'm just curious. Like, is there
I don't think that's
one's
what
more
it's saying
cynical?
because
Yeah, you're saying
yeah,
it's
yeah, that's what
positive.
this positive. Yeah, I feel like it's a more positive note. I wouldn't say that because then the movie would then be nihilistic. Like seriously, I mean,
Sure.
it would be
Yeah.
so like a hammer. But I never felt that. Like I said, I felt it as a sweet little story about the coming of the times. You're going from the early 1900s into the 1960s, and I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't say it would be negative like that. I wouldn't. I
Makes
wouldn't
sense.
agree with that. I
I mean,
can't
I
because
think I
you know
agree
what I
with
mean.
you.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
we don't know, but I do agree. I mean,
yeah,
I think
yeah,
what's
yeah,
there is an indicator that it's more leaning more positive and just saying like that everything that
yes,
happens in
correct.
life, it's
Yeah,
not for a reason.
yeah,
It's just that the things that happen. It's learning to appreciate the joy that does come with in life, and
yes.
and not
I
put
like
too
that.
much
Yeah,
meaning into the negative, I guess.
agreed. Yeah,
So I do think there's that's a more positive outlook, which I think is
yeah,
easier
yeah.
to walk
That's
away from, especially for a film that is kind of sad.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
I think that's part of his journey, though, also, which
yeah,
would make some sense because he's
yeah,
put through all these
yeah.
horrible things, and maybe the reason is to understand that it's not his fault
Exactly.
necessarily.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, at the very beginning of the film, and this is just I didn't go back and look, I forgot to, but I did make a note about the pair of boots stuck in the tree in the
yeah,
opening.
yeah.
There's
Uh
like an
huh.
opening like montage, and you see, I know the boots. That's like what they do when somebody dies. They like nail
Guys.
them to a
Yeah,
tree.
yeah. William. Yeah, William Macy's like, normally I've never heard of that, but he said that he does it so you can always, that guy's always remembered better than
Sure.
a tomb headstone, and
Hmm.
he was, and I thought that was really cool because you see those boots later on, covered in moss.
One, but then also the I mean, they are also tearing these trees down, which I think is it
Down,
does
yeah.
tie into that concept that they're essentially getting rid of these memories of this place, or that I don't know. It's
That
interesting.
that's true.
But
That's
there's
true.
anyway. I know we see his boots later on, though. We know
Yeah,
those are William H Macy's. I just was
yeah,
curious if those were the same boots at the beginning of the film. Like, there's a pair in the opening
yeah.
minute of the
Interesting.
movie. I didn't know whose they were. If maybe that was like a foreshadowing of Robert's boots being nailed to a tree or
Yeah,
something.
to
I
a
just wasn't
tree.
sure.
Yeah,
It might have just been like a montage of
montage,
images
but
to
that's
preview what's to
interesting.
come. I don't
Yeah,
know.
it's interesting that you say that. Yeah. I definitely then got to go back and check that part out to see if that's what it was. I just my eyes just saw the boots that we end up seeing that William H. Macy, puts up, and later on we see it again, and then but that also reminded me of William H. Macy and this kind of thing like the old guard, going being, and then with the new taking over, and yeah, I mean, I kind of dug that, but I don't know. I got to watch it again to see if that's what you're saying.
Sure. And I don't have all these details figured out. They're just
Yeah,
things that I
yeah,
wrote down as I was watching it. Um, the only other thing that the only my only more major thing I didn't love about the film would be the narrator. I like the dialogue, like I like what
yeah.
the narrator's saying, but it just felt kind of out of place. There was also like long stretches of the film where the narrator's not there, and
Not there at
which
all.
is a
Yeah,
problem in every movie with the narrator. But
yeah.
it was one of those things I didn't know if it worked for you or if it kind of felt abandoned halfway through the movie.
It's funny you say it because I'm sitting there, and I know I hate doing these things, but it's like I'm trying to figure out who the fuck that narrator was. He is.
Oh, I didn't even look it up.
I gotta look this up because I didn't do it that day but I mean, he sounded like an actor that we all know and love. Hold on, let
Hmm.
me look up Train Dreams. Uh,
I
Train.
like I don't- the other part of this question is like I don't know how else you do it though. Like how else would you portray some of the ideas that you need to establish earlier in the film without a narrator? Might be a little like the idea that he's lost in the world, harder to
Yeah.
portray. It's easy to portray that with a single line of dialogue. Like I don't think the narrator's overused either,
Oh, yeah, yeah. He's
Um,
not. Yeah.
but it was just one of those things. It's like we're still doing narrators. I feel like that's like a there's a point where I was like, oh, we're still doing that. I
Right.
forget. There was another movie that this kind of reminded me of that I think got nominated last year. It's the one in the prison.
Oh, it was Will Patton just to say that, but
Okay,
in the prison, the one with Coleman Domingo, or
I don't remember any of the actors in it. It's the one. It's a true story. It's a horrifying true story about like
yeah,
a
yeah, it's the
in the
one with Coleman
South, the
Domingo.
prison in the South that
Yeah,
like
yeah,
they found like a ton of fucking bodies
yeah,
buried behind the prison. It's like a horrifying
yeah,
true
yeah.
tragedy. Is it Paper Dreams or something? I don't know. This is Train Dreams. It's
This
paper
is Train
it's something.
Dreams.
I
I was
don't
gonna say,
remember what it's
let's
called.
see, is the
Um,
makers of the same film?
but
Let me
it
see.
aesthetically it reminded me a lot of that too. It's also a squared off aspect ratio, and that one's like all told through first person,
Yeah,
I think. But it's tonally some of this reminded me a lot of that. This is irrelevant, I guess, what I'm saying here, but I do think that had a narrator as well, is the
yeah,
tie into
yeah.
this conversation. But I could be wrong. And that was also nominated, I think,
Yes,
and
yeah,
was
it
one of
was.
those fringe kind of picks where I was like, did anybody see this movie?
See this?
Good,
I
it's
still haven't.
fine.
Yeah,
This
yeah,
one though,
yeah.
like got dropped on Netflix. I don't even think it got it didn't get like a month long
Did
theatrical run.
did it
Train
not?
Dreams,
No, I thought it
maybe
was in
in
theaters
New
for
York
like
and
maybe, but yeah, like
yeah,
L.A.,
big
New York,
markets.
Chicago. Yeah,
Yeah. But
but
yeah, it was
yeah,
just an odd pick for this category. Yeah,
yeah.
anyway, not a bad movie by any
No,
means.
no, not at all. I enjoyed it,
Um,
but yeah, I agree with you. I said the same thing to Ron. I was like, so I'm not sure. I mean, I was like, why is it with all these big powerhouse films? I said,
yeah, I don't know if it quite.
this is just a sweet little just in there. I don't know, but
Yeah, I
yeah,
don't know if it quite lives up to the rest of the category.
yeah, I agree. I agree.
But very well executed and a nice,
Yes,
really
I
interesting exploration of why we're here.
yeah.
I think that's all the notes I had. Would you recommend it to people?
Oh yeah, I would. This is one of those films that it's not too art housey. Like,
That's fair.
yeah, it's a sweet story. I mean, there's
Not too long.
obviously not too long. It's only an hour and 30 something, and it's tragic, unfortunately. But it's a lot about like we were saying, like it has to do with life and how you see your place in this world. Um, and I mean, like I said, the cinematography was amazing. I mean, you could just sit down on a big screen. I actually would have dug that on a big screen, but.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would definitely recommend it. I'm not gonna, over other movies that were nominated. I definitely would recommend this. Yeah. All right, hold on, guys. Let me just somebody calling me from Alabama.
Spam.
Spam. Coleman Domingo, and let me see what the hell this movie was called. The movie that we were talking about.
I like picture the cover. It's like the two boys that went to the prison together. I don't even know if it's like a boys' school. It's like a boarding school.
Sing
I don't even-
Sing. Yeah, it is Sing Sing.
No, that was the one
No,
the
no,
director did.
that's. Oh, okay, yeah. All right. So then, what was it called? The Nickel something?
Nickel Boys.
Nickel
Yes,
Boys.
that's the
There it
one.
goes. Nickel Boys. Okay.
Yeah, not a bad movie either. I kind
No,
of
no,
like that
no.
one.
Yeah.
Anyway, did you do your pick of the week? Did you figure out a pick of the week, or did you
All right.
forget?
Yeah. You
I'm
know
always the one
what?
that forgets, so
Yeah, I know, right? And this is for everybody, but I don't know if you've ever seen it. SLC Punk.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
SLC Punk. I've never heard of it.
SLC Punk. Matthew Lillard, like right after him blowing up, but before Scooby Doo. Um, it's just a weird but very funny portrait of these hoity-toity rich kids who rebel with punk music in the middle of fucking Utah, and start a small little movement out there. But it was really good. Matthew Lillard's amazing in it. He's
Hmm.
like really good. The stories are like the same thing, like little stories, of them from like I don't know if it takes place over a year or so, but and then the whole thing like, what are you going to do with your life? These rich kids who have money, but it was really good. It's really well acted, and I never saw it. Everyone's been telling me to watch it, and I saw it, and I really dug it. I think you might dig it too.
Your picks of the week are always just complete, just out of nowhere. It sounds interesting. I'm not, they're just always like, yeah, this one random movie from what the late '90s or something. It's
Yeah,
fine.
99, 99.
I mean,
Yeah,
mine are at least tied into the
I
movie
know.
we talked about. Uh, I have two picks though.
Let me
Um,
hear it. Let me hear it.
One we already talked about, which is A Serious Man, which I think is
Yes, yes.
directly. I just think that these two movies are very similar in what they're exploring, and I think A
Good
Serious Man
movie.
is just a brilliant shot by Roger
Yeah,
Deakins. I love the ending of Serious Man. It's
yeah,
brilliant, so fantastic. It's a hilarious, just bizarre comedy drama, and but it has like really big ideas and
yeah,
just
yeah.
a great later film from the Coen brothers. The other pick, which I think is more in line with the Forest component, is Paul Dano's directorial debut, Wildlife from 2018, which has Jake Gyllenhaal and
Not Reese Witherspoon. No, that was the other one.
no, oh, I can picture Carey Mulligan, I believe.
Carey Mulligan. Okay,
Um,
Wildlife. Okay.
Great. It's great. It's just a great portrait of a small town family. Like, I think Jake Gyllenhaal like goes off to fight these fires in the forest, and so he's gone for extended periods of time. Very similar idea of like a husband being away and the
Yeah,
impact that
yeah.
that has on the family and their son in particular. It's kind of told through not through his perspective, but it's definitely he's like the protagonist of the film.
Okay. All right.
And yeah, it's just kind of watching this to some degree a marriage kind of fall apart.
Yeah.
Um, the not as good of a movie as Serious Man, but I think it has a lot of similar visuals and a similar. It's set in a kind of a similar era of time in America, kind of that like post World War II. This is, I think, Train Dreams is set a little prior to Wildlife, but I think Wildlife is like that like post World War II like
Mm.
nuclear family kind of
Okay. All right.
era
Yeah,
of
yeah.
America, and where like blue collar workers like would go out and die going to work and stuff. A really fun time in the U.S. and
Real fun time.
but yeah, it's a very very similar thematically to this, and so it reminded me
All
a lot
right.
of it. It's also just I think it's a really impressive directorial debut from Paul
Oh,
Dano. So.
damn, it's so funny because you're saying that, I'm like the title was familiar, but no, I never saw it. I
Very
got definitely
quiet
check it out.
movie, so it wasn't like
Yeah.
a big box office hit or anything, but
Okay. Yeah.
very, very well done. Love to see more Paul Dano directorial.
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah. He's
It's,
a good actor, and now that you say
yeah,
that, he also directed
Tarantino
something.
doesn't think so, but
Yeah, I know.
wrong. Oh, I
Tarantino,
can't believe you'd criticize that performance too. It's so
right?
dumb, so dumb. What a bad take. Ugh, Quentin Tarantino drives me nuts sometimes. I love the
Yeah, he
guy,
does.
you
He
know,
does.
but
I love
good
his
Lord,
directing, but
what a bad opinion. That's just a wrong. I mean, like not only is that performance great, Paul Dano's great in
yeah,
everything. He's a great actor. Like
he
maybe you
is.
don't
He
like his
is.
face. I don't know what or his voice, but like of all the actors you're gonna criticize, come on. There's a million more. Like he's talking about he's the worst actor in SAG. It's like I know
Oh my
guys that
God.
live in Houston that are like I mean come on man that are in SAG.
It's sad,
You
yeah.
telling me that like this guy who was nominated for an Academy Award is like the worst actor in SAG?
Well,
Bad
let me
take.
see. I know we talked about this. Let me just see, Rob, because since we're talking about Paul Dano, and I'm like, what was that movie that because talk about like him elevating a film. Hold on, let me see. Damn, why do I not?
He's really good in everything. Like he's well,
Yeah, like,
I didn't see the Fablemans, but I hear he's good in that. I mean,
whoa, you never seen The Fablemans?
I
Holy
have it
shit!
on yeah, I have it on Blu-ray, I
Yeah, I
think,
love it. I love
or
it.
digital
Yeah.
or something. Yeah. He's got like 12 to 15 roles that are like exceptional
Oh,
performance.
Love and Mercy. That
Okay.
horrible, horrible movie about Brian Wilson. He was just amazing in it, and it's like he looks like Brian Wilson so
Mm.
much, and then you cut to the future, and John Cusack is playing him, and I'm like, they look nothing alike. And John Cusack's performance is horrible, and I'm like, but Paul Dano is just so amazing in that film, and I love that film. But if you ever
Like
catch,
also
excuse me.
Little Miss Sunshine, 12 Years a Slave,
Oh
Love and
yeah,
Mercy, like you talked about.
Swiss Army Man.
I mean, yeah, Swiss always great in
Oh,
Swiss
I
Army
love that.
Man.
Yeah,
Yeah, Fableman's the Batman. He's good in the Batman. Like,
Batman.
come,
Yeah,
give
he
me a
is.
break. This guy, what a
Yeah,
bad, dumb take. Prisoners,
Tarantino's
great in that for the brief.
great film. Yeah,
Yeah,
we
I mean
just saw that recently
Looper.
again. Yeah.
He's in so many things, and sorry, this we touched on something that really bothers me. I hate the
I see.
idea of an acclaimed filmmaker who has a lot of power in the
Yeah,
industry shitting on somebody who's actually pretty
somebody
good for no
good.
reason.
Yeah,
And
yeah, just to
the only reason is he's comparing him. He's like, it's supposed to be a two-hander, and Daniel Day-Lewis, you can't compare to the great Daniel Day-Lewis, sure, but the character is the dynamic between those characters is supposed to be that way. Like,
that way.
Paul
Yes.
Dano plays like a priest who's kind of weaselly and definitely
Yeah.
not in the same level of power and control that this like rich
Correct.
bastard is. I mean, it's just like, what on earth? Anyway, that whole thing baffled me. I don't know if we
Yeah.
talked about that on the show or not, but that might
No,
have
we
been
never
before he
did. But
came
I
back.
said the same thing. I was like, "What the hell is Quentin Tarantino talking about?"
He's just
Oh my
bored.
God, I
He's
feel
like
bad.
pondering
I know
retirement, trying to
that.
steal
Yeah, he hasn't done
controversy.
shit in so long, and he's just like sitting there smoking weed and just not knowing what to do, man.
Great
But
filmmaker.
anyway, yeah.
Bad take.
Yes, he is.
Anyway, that's enough. This is episode 51 of Indecisive Cinema.
51.
Thanks
Yes.
for doing this. I'm glad we got back this week after
Of
me being
course, of
busy
course.
last
Yeah.
week. I think we'll probably do an Oscar recap next week, and that should be
Yes.
fun.
Yes.
So
I'm
I
gonna
look
watch The
forward
Secret
to.
Agent because I've been wanting to watch
Yeah,
that.
I'm gonna
So I'm
try.
gonna
It's
watch that before
playing
then.
it. If you would be down, they're playing it at like it's kind of a late showing. It's like 7:45 at Cinemark. It is late for a 3 hour movie,
Yeah,
but
I was gonna
I'm gonna.
say.
I think I might go to see. I think it might be tomorrow night though. I gotta shoot
Oh yeah,
tomorrow.
no. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see. But I'll if it's not tomorrow night and there's like a better time somewhere, I'll let you know.
Let me know. Yeah.
But yeah, I hope to see it in theaters 'cause I feel like that's one I just would like to.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But anyway, that's it for
That's
Indecisive
for
Cinema
tonight.
episode 51.
Yeah,
Y'all
guys.
take care.
Take care. We'll see you next week.